I had always been known for my ability to restore old paintings, bringing them back to life with meticulous care. So, when I was hired to work on a series of portraits at the Grand Hawkins Mansion, I was both excited and intrigued. The job required me to stay in the mansion for several weeks, a place infamous for the mysterious deaths of the Hawkins family. The challenge and the historical significance of the paintings drew me in, and I couldn't resist the opportunity. From the moment I started working, the portraits gave me an unsettling feeling. Each one depicted a member of the Hawkins family, their faces frozen in expressions of intense fear. As I carefully restored the paintings, I couldn't shake the eerie sensation that the eyes in the portraits were watching my every move. Gradually, I began to notice strange details that hadn't been apparent at first. Subtle changes in the expressions, and shadowy figures that seemed to shift in the backgrounds. One evening, as I was finishing up for the day, I noticed something chilling. Mrs. Hawkins's portrait had changed. Her fearful expression had twisted into a sinister smile. The next day, I started seeing shadows flitting at the corners of my vision, and at night, I heard faint cries and pleas for help echoing through the mansion. The air grew colder, and the oppressive atmosphere became almost suffocating. Determined to understand what was happening, I delved into the Hawkins family history and uncovered a terrifying secret. The family had practiced dark rituals, trapping their souls within the portraits in a twisted attempt to achieve immortality. The paintings had become vessels for their tormented spirits, infused with their fears and pain. I realized that the only way to free the trapped souls was to destroy the paintings, but doing so would unleash their malevolent spirits into the world. Despite the risks, I knew what I had to do. I decided to burn the paintings, hoping to free the souls and end the curse. As I set the first painting on fire, the mansion shook violently, and the cries turned into screams of rage. I continued, even as the air grew thick with a malevolent energy. The faces in the portraits twisted in agony, and the shadows in the room seemed to close in on me. When the last painting burned, a horrific apparition of the entire Hawkins family appeared before me, their faces contorted with anger. They reached out for me, but with a final burst of energy, the fire consumed them, and the mansion began to collapse around me. I barely managed to escape, battered and terrified. When I returned to town, I found the townsfolk had changed. They were haunted by nightmares and strange occurrences, as if the spirits had followed me. I knew then that the curse of the Hawkins family would never leave me, and that wherever I went, the spirits of the mansion would be just one step behind. Years later, I heard that the mansion had been rebuilt, and a new family had moved in. They discovered an old, partially burned portrait in the attic. As they began to restore it, the hauntings started anew, and the cycle of terror continued. My fate and the true nature of the curse remain a chilling mystery, one that will forever haunt me. I had just inherited an old Victorian mansion from a distant aunt. The house, known as Ashford Manor, was located on the outskirts of a small town. Despite its decaying exterior, I decided to move in and restore it, believing it would be a peaceful place to write my next novel. I loved the idea of living in a house with such rich history, unaware of the dark secrets it held. From the very first night, I began hearing soft whispers echoing through the hallways. At first, I dismissed them as the house settling, but soon, the whispers grew louder and more distinct, following me no matter where I went in the house. During the day, I felt a constant chill, as if the house itself was watching me. One evening, while exploring the mansion, I discovered a hidden room behind a bookshelf. Inside, I found an old diary belonging to my aunt, filled with accounts of disturbing events, voices, shadows, and unexplained occurrences. My aunt had been driven to madness, convinced that the house was alive. The diary entries became increasingly frantic, describing how the whispers would call her name, revealing secrets and memories she had long forgotten. The final entry was a warning to anyone who found the diary. The house is hungry and takes your soul piece by piece. Leave before it's too late. As I read more of the diary, the whispers became clearer, forming coherent sentences. They began calling me by name, revealing secrets about my life that no one else knew. The atmosphere in the house grew oppressive, and I felt watched at all times. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and I often caught glimpses of figures standing in doorways or at the end of dark hallways. Determined to uncover the truth about Ashford Manor, I began researching its history. I learned that the house had a long history of tragedy. Every family that had lived there experienced mysterious deaths, disappearances, and madness. It was said that the original owner, a wealthy industrialist named Thomas Ashford, had built the house on cursed land, believing it would grant him immortality. One night, the whispers guided me to the attic. There, I found a circle of old, rotting dolls surrounding a dusty mirror. When I looked into the mirror, I didn't see my own reflection, but my aunt's eyes, wide with terror. The reflection spoke in a voice that wasn't my aunt's, warning me to leave the house before it consumed me too. Terrified, I tried to leave Ashford Manor, but found that the doors and windows wouldn't open. The whispers turned into screams, and I was dragged back to the attic by an unseen force. As I was pulled into the mirror, my vision faded to black. Months later, a new family moved into the house. They found my belongings, but there was no trace of me. The diary and the hidden room were gone. The house seemed peaceful until the whispers started again, this time calling out the name of the new residents,